No scriptwriter could have ever written a better story.
Oh, well, hello there, and a very warm welcome to you wherever you are watching from around the world to this edition of the In and Out Studio. Amy Parks is my name, and what a pleasure it is to be with you this Saturday afternoon as we bring you all of the action from Jumping Dinard. We are in one of the most spectacular places in France to ever show you this exceptional sport of show jumping. A lot been happening over the course of the week, plenty to bring you up to speed on, and a wonderful derby class to bring you this afternoon. I won't be alone here.
Sam Watson, Olympic eventer, World Equestrian Games medalist, and co-founder of EquiRatings. With decades of experience at the top of the sport and a passion for data-driven insight, Sam brings a unique blend of riding expertise and sharp analytics to the In-Out studio.
Much, Sam. I think my favourite part of the sizzle reel is where you're like in the sash, riding into the prize giving, yapping, or shouting at someone over your shoulder.
My kids, they love a prize giving, but they don't know where to stand at the front of a horse. They get bitten, back of a horse, they get kicked. They're always in the wrong place.
Well, it's lovely, and we want to bring everybody up to love bringing it to you. The 4 fast facts then about Jumping Dinard. Let's get stuck into those and tell you about this wonderful show. What can we tell you? Well, we are at the show itself, established in 1912, and this amazing arena that we're going to see today, it is called the Ville Ring, or this international arena. It was designed in 1985 with show jumping at its heart. It is designed specifically for the sport we are going to see throughout the course of the weekend. Originally, this ground was the training ground of the French cavalry and equestrians throughout the course of very many years. And as I said, that signature colour, that pink that is attached to that show, we'll be seeing a lot of that. If you're scrolling social media this weekend, you'll be seeing it flash up in your feed, because that is what Dinard is all about and everybody loves it. Those winners' rugs look impeccable. And we've got an intrepid reporter who has gone out to Dinard. Oh, gee, what a bother that has been for him. He's enjoying himself beachside in Dinard. It is John Kyle. John, tell us about this amazing show and what it's feeling like there so far.
And thanks, Amy. It's fantastic to finally be here. It's one of those events I've seen from afar. I've been lucky enough to commentate on. It's my first time here. And yes, the showgrounds are incredible, but the town as well, the beach, the whole environment here on the Emerald Coast is just exceptional. And I can see how you talk to riders, it's like, I've only come here for the first time. I don't know why I left it so long. They all come here and they absolutely fall in love with it. And another thing they'll fall in love with is this arena. As you mentioned, purpose-built for the sport, and it is an incredible arena because, again, coming here for the first time, I've really taken in, I always knew it wasn't flat, but there are parts of it that are just like an absolute wall of death. And the designer here has been designing for about 100 years. He's a very, very old school designer, but he knows every inch of this ground. And that makes it that he can use all those little nuances to absolute perfection. We've seen big crowds every single afternoon here, and for the Derby this afternoon and the Rolex Grand Prix tomorrow, they are going to be big, they are going to be in full voice, and they are going to really enjoy some top-class sport.
They certainly are. Thanks, JK. Looking forward to bringing it all to you. We've got some wonderful shots of it from the air. Just take a look at this. I feel like I say this every week about these incredible shows. That looks like AI, Sam.
Yeah, it's amazing. These old school arenas, they've been going for more than 100 years. You know, the history that this sport is so rich in. Of course, we've got the all-weather arena. We've got a 3-star show going on as well as a 5-star show here. That main arena is just unbelievable and brings out a whole new level of horsemanship. All about balance, this sport, and that gets tested in that arena.
Yeah, for sure. And all about balance this life as well. It looks like you can have a little bit of horse sport and do your job, as well as enjoy that wonderful location. And I love the irony of John doing his live cross saying, this arena is purpose-built for horse sport, and then someone kicking a football in the background behind him. That was great as well. We want to take a little bit more of a look at this venue in focus, and that is exactly what John has done. Take a look.
Our venue this week is Dinard, nestled on Brittany's famous Emerald Coast. And that gives the show its own unique atmosphere amongst all the other shows we present on In Out. It means the horses are warming up in the sea breezes. Spectators walk in from the beach, and everything's got that relaxed, elegant French seaside resort air. But the sport is anything but relaxed. The expansive grass arena here at Dinard is always going to reward that forward, bold riding, but also the adaptability. The current showgrounds were purpose-built in 1985 for European Championships, meaning the equestrian facilities here are absolutely second to none. From the second sand arena to the warm-ups, including an indoor one, everything is super horse-friendly in Dinard. And that history here in Dinard brings a huge range of classes, not least thundering down this bank. Whoever is the winner, they'll have played it out against one of the most recognisable backdrops in show jumping.
Their time a little bit, but big names here this week, that is for certain, and we saw that evident in the first big win in a 5-star earlier in the week with Lillie Keenan.
Absolutely, big year. That we're getting close, so the strategy is at play. You mentioned Lillie Keenan. She got off to a flyer, and she absolutely hammered Ben Maher by more than a second, about a second and a half. That takes quite some doing. 11 clears in round one. What was quite interesting was that Shane Sweetnam and James Cam-Cruz was one of those clears. He elected not to jump in the jump off. Time penalties for Thibaut. Lillie, I mean, that's with kick on, with her World Championship horse, choosing to go and get the points, because you're trying to keep these horses sharp, focused, ready. Obviously, not use all the energy up with the championship around the corner. But as you know, Shane said after his big win a couple of weeks ago, he needs to keep, these are top athletes and they're prime. You got to keep them ticking over. So yeah, the big guns were out on Friday.
Absolutely, it's like rolling a ball to the top of the hill. You got to keep that ball at the top of the hill just for the precise moment, don't you? And I swear that precise moment came for Lillie Keenan earlier in the week, and long may it continue for her and Kick On. Let's take a look at their performance.
Is that of Lillie Keenan of the USA, number 8. Of those original clears. Lillie Keenan, Pedro, Kieran Millett, Paula Amelbia and Max Kuna left to go. Lillie and the Warriors side Kick On, Ken, the stallion for the Chansonet Farm of New York. Going to look to go 2 from 2. Winding up in the pink. Gives it space, still good. Little touch there, leaves it. She's up again. Stay on the inside track, get this slice. She does. She's on the same route as Maher. Will she be faster? She looks like she will be. It could be 2 from 2, 38.75. Lillie Keenan came dressed for the occasion, and she's certainly matching up to it. Lillie Keenan, Kick On, do exactly as they say on the tin.
Kick On there. He's just Ken. They call him Ken in the stable. Couldn't be a more fitting show for him then. The pink show looking absolutely appropriate there, Lillie, in the pink jacket as well, taking that win. Display, wasn't it?
If you're gonna match the colours of Dinard, you've got to absolutely nail it. The ground speed of Kick On, you see in that jump off, would have ridden all the same lines as Ben Maher, but Ben was with Anjou de Grisienne, who jumped a clear round. but then just a little bit leaving the door open. I mean, he was 2 seconds ahead of the guys in third. Steve Gerdat was back there in fourth. Lillie did actually, yeah, it was a convincing win.
Yeah,
great confidence ahead of well, this weekend we've got the Grand Prix tomorrow, and then she is off to Germany.
Yeah, exciting, very, very exciting one to keep an eye on. We want to talk about some more of 5-star action. Of course, our feature class today is actually a 3-star class, Sam. It is the Derby, but it is a feature because it is so exciting. Again, steeped into tradition and history, and
to see these pre-competition favourites with such a margin. The sport of show jumping is notorious for being the easiest competition for the best combination to lose. It is just fraught with chance. We've got 2 athletes, we've got a human literally trying to ride an animal around an undulating arena trying to leave all the poles in place. But what Ben and Ginger Blue can do at these classes, this was at the 150 level, is just absolutely extraordinary. They were our pre-competition favourites. Could they bring it home ahead of the likes of, I thought Henrik van Eckermann, looking further down that list, and Glamour Girl was a little bit of a hidden threat and a hidden danger down there. We saw yesterday's winner as well, Lillie Keenan, there on the bottom of our screen. Didn't go to plan for her. There were a lot of French in behind, and Dennis Lynch actually didn't jump this. But was it going to be as simple as the pre-competition favourite winning it? Could Ben Maher and Ginger Blue take their 6th 5-star win of the year? Spoiler alert, absolutely.
spoiler alert, we didn't give you any time.
Yeah,
yes, is the answer.
Yeah, he was runner-up to Lillie yesterday. It's interesting. We obviously focus at the very top level, and who's the best horse in the world, and this kind of stuff at the very top level. But there's just something wonderful about this horse, and in a strange sort of way, it is kind of one of the horses of the year for me, because we know Ginger Blue really well. She's 15-year-old, has 13 5-star wins on her record. That's really valuable world ranking points for Ben, and plays a huge role. The confidence, how he's going to be feeling after having a win in these venues, in these arenas. Like it's a really important psychological role that she plays, but level.
Outstanding. She's almost come into her own with a new I'm the Diesel horse of the Ben Maher stable. But yeah, you're 100% right, and it's so Jefferson for Scott Brash, another one that kind of, rumbled Charlotte so many times, and having a wonderful time he was as well. Purple Patch. But let's then talk about some of the analysis around the difficulty of that.
Yeah, exactly. It's interesting to be able to review a competition, which we don't always do. And if you look at the yellow bars on your screen there, that's how you would predict it. This is a 5-star 150 class. So in a 5-star show, you get a lot of the likes of Ginger Blue, the likes of Glamour Girl. Connor Jay was in this class for Martin Fuchs as well. So you get a lot of kind of proven horses, and so you expect a slightly higher clear rate. You expect that clear rate around 40%. So if you look at the yellow staircase there, we should have seen about 12 clears, 7 on 4, 5 on 5 to 8, and obviously these things have variance and things like that. But actually, how the course these things have variance and things like that. But actually, how the course panned out, we only saw 6 clears, 10 on 4. And quite a lot on 8 as well, so it was just a little bit of a different shape. So that it was a tough enough 150. It would have been a little bit harder than, say, some of those first timers stepping up. And one of those, not a first timer stepping up, but Julien Anquetin. They've had 12 shots at 5-star 160 classes in the past, only 2 clears, both times on the podium. That's their 3rd clear, so they didn't have the highest clear rate. They weren't on our radar from that point of view. But now, when they're clear, that's 3 podiums from 3. And Julien Anquetin, we know how fast the French can be, and we know how fast Julien can be. When he leaves those rails in the cups, he's an absolute threat. But Ben was nearly a second faster. He was about 0.85 of a second ahead of him.
Unreal. Really incredible stuff. Well, I guess there's nothing left to do, we've talked about it now, than to have a look at that winning round.
Is that of...
He did come down and have a chat to John. We're going to hear... Rug, we do have the winner's interview with JK. They'll come up for you shortly. Oh, we have the round now. We're going to have a look at that instead. See, I mean, we just like to keep you. We like to keep you on your toes here in the In and Out studio. Let's take a look.
For Jane Clark, this lovely combination for the world number 4. Flew round beautifully at Hickstead last week in a similar, well, in a speed class there. Just again an absolute exhibition about how to ride against the clock. The power there the whole time, but had the smoothness and the speed there too. It's a pair that won Grand Prix out in America this year. They won the Paris Grand Prix a few seasons ago as well. It's just wanting to get into that same groove on the way around. Not interfering too much, or not appearing to, but then he never appears to be doing too much, but that's the class of the rider. Lovely through there, hinges beautifully through that triple combination. Second up at the moment. It's more bend into this line than you probably see on the screen. Across that Oxford and just. It's going to run closer. 63.01 to beat, and he's going to get nose over the line at 62.16. So they follow up with the same as we saw last week in Britain, with here in Brittany, Ben Maher and Ginger Blue taking the lead, 62.16. So smooth again. The man is an absolutely star talent, which is why he's won 3 Olympic golds, and just one to sit and watch if you're wanting to develop in the sport. The difficulty is sometimes seeing what he's doing, because he is so
Yeah, exactly. Interesting to know.
There's no, you're looking at that.
Interesting to know.
There's no, you're looking at that door of the likes of Henrik van Eckermann, Julian Anquetin, as I mentioned, Julian Eppillard, or the likes of Henrik van Eckermann, Julian Anquetin, as I mentioned, Julian Eppillard, real speedsters. And I think they were probably about 90%. They were probably about 90%, Ben and Ginger. Lethal there, and that is why that's their 6th.
So it's been interesting over the course of the week. We've been catching up with some of the riders. Another rider that we've spoken a lot about, and he'll be our rider in focus today. Is on home ground, of course, is Kevin Staut.
Yeah, what a rider, this man. I mean, when we look at what he does, he's always on our screens, Kevin Staut. We see him every single week. He's won this Grand Prix in Dinard back in 2024 with. It's that bit underneath. Since 2010, no one has jumped more 5-star 160 rounds than him. That number is just colossal. He's averaging about 72 5-star 160 rounds per year. So that's about 1.5 a week. And when you consider some of those World Cup shows might only have 160, he literally, his postman doesn't know who he is. He's never at home. This man is on the road. I would say the people in security at the airport probably know him better than his own dog at home, because he's just on the road that much. But he, you know, and the likes of Steve Gerda, it's not just the fact that this is the busiest rider on the circuit. It's the fact that he's jumped about 30% more rounds at the top level than his nearest rival. That's consecutive World Games. He's done 4 World Games. So he's now going into his 5th debut. He hasn't sport, and he gives a huge amount to his country. So he is Mr. France.
Mr. France himself, and fittingly, he's our rider in focus this weekend.
I'm Kevin Staut, French rider, and I'm riding this weekend in Dinard, the CSCI 5-star. Many years that I'm competing here, but it was also a long time ago that when I was a kid, I could watch some European Championships, a famous Grand Prix. So yeah, you see the footing is fantastic. It's one specificity from this arena, it's not flat at all. So it makes the technical issues much more, difficult. But okay, you see all the people which are coming to watch from Thursday till Sunday. It's absolutely fabulous. Yeah, 2 years ago I could win this Rolex Grand Prix here in Dinard, and yeah, in front of this audience it was completely crazy. I was the last one to jump for the jump off, and Steve Gerda was in the lead. It was a quick jump off, but I had this horse, Baudelaire, who could make it. And for sure, when you pass the finish line and you are in front of your home crowd, it's something unique. Dinard is totally different, but the course designer here, Jean-François, the arena so well, and is using every part of it to make you know, every year difficult Grand Prix. Also, like big arenas like here, time allowed is really an issue, and I think the sport is wonderful here. You have the top combination athletes, for sure the best riders, but also with the best horses, certainly in view of the World Championships in Aachen will be on grass in a few weeks. So it's a little bit like the last stage before the big event of the year. And I think we are really happy and glad to have these top riders with their best horses. I have 5 horses here, but I'm also competing, you know, the 3-star and some other competition. So I'm quite busy, but for sure I will stay focused on Rolex Grand Prix on Sunday. I'm really, really motivated. I would like to win it once again. And Ville is a fantastic mare. She's also really fast, so if she can join the jump off, it can be funny. The Derby will run on Saturday here at Dinard. And I'm really happy to stay in the tribune to watch it, because I will not be part of it. But okay, it's always a spectacular class, and I'm really happy that I have some colleagues really aware that it's a difficult class and we have specific horses for that. It's not my case, so I will be happy to watch it.
Yeah, terrific stuff. Really, really great to hear from Kevin Staut there. And it is, of course, this Derby class, Sam. We want to first go back to John. He's been out there walking the course with some of the riders, and I believe he's catching up with Steve Gerda.
Absolutely, thanks Amy. He is going to be going third in the competition, so we won't have him for very long. But you've got your absolute Derby machine, Easy Star. So are you looking forward to today?
Yes, I am. It's always a very enjoying class to ride, and especially when you have a horse that enjoys it as much as you, so looking forward to it.
So, Steve, you're clinical, you're Swiss, you're precision. Derby is crazy, it's out there, it's wild. How is it this horse that makes you love the Derby?
No, I always love Derby. I think Derby is the root of our sport. I think it's we miss them too much. I liked it back in the times where horses could basically be horses, and when it felt actually more natural to jump some heavier natural fences than some light planks.
And yet here you have both. You come off the bank at Dinard to a double of planks.
Yeah, exactly. That's a good thing. It's a mixture of a little bit everything, but a lot of new generation thinks it's not nice for the horses to go down a bank or to go through the water. Or I think it's much more natural than to jump in little small sand places. That becomes a little bit the norm today. So it's very nice to be able to go back to the roots of the sport, and the horses really enjoy it, and there is nothing better than jumping at them down the hills on a grass arena like in Dinard.
Who do you see as your big competitors? Is it your friend Martin? Is it some of the French guys?
Yeah, probably Martin. He had a great win in Falsterbo, and some of the French guy also. This Derby is a little bit more difficult for us, especially now with the number 3. Start on number 3 because it's on time. Obviously, there is no jump off. So Easy Star is a real Derby specialist, but he's not the fastest horse. So I'm probably going to have to take a lot more risk than I wished for if I was going towards the end. But yeah, that's what it's about. I'm going to give my best, and I'm sure he will also, and we'll see what comes up at the end.
Steve, I get the hint. They've just opened the course. You're number 3. Best of luck. Have a go at it. Thanks very much there to Steve as we get ready for the Derby here in Dinard.
Super stuff. Thanks so much for that, John, and great to hear from. When Stevie G talks, we listen. We really do. And it's really nice to hear him say it's natural fences, there's sort of natural obstacles that these horses will look at, the questions they will have to answer today. And he feels really, really like they're very welcoming for the horses in actual fact. It's a much more natural question to ask rather than have them cantering around in a sand arena over coloured poles.
I think he was looking for an invitation to come to Burley.
Yeah.
At the end of, or the beginning of September.
Switching it up.
Yeah, or he might stroll over and have a look at the cross country in Aachen in a few weeks' time. But he's dead right. It is the natural thing. The horses love it. It's enjoyable, and it's that horsemanship, because it's the partnership between horse and rider when you're going up and down those hills and all those different types of terrain. And I do think it changes things for the horses a little bit, you know, like they love the challenge, different things to look at and stuff like that. It is a really enjoyable class. I love that Kevin Staut said in his interview that he will enjoy watching from the tribune. I didn't.
It's not for him.
Yeah,
it's basically what he was saying.
Yeah, I did exactly. It was actually quite hard to. He'd be quite a good poker player. I didn't know whether that was a kind of sarcasm, saying, "Yeah, I'm quite happy to be on the sidelines," or whether he will actually genuinely enjoy it. But Steve is definitely raring to go. So Steve Gerda, he's one to watch.
Ready to rock and roll. Yeah. It's exactly right. So we've talked a little bit about this class, though. Dinard Derby. It is, of course, it's one round against the clock. So it's a 3-star. It's not 5-star top level, which we're also seeing running across the course of the weekend. It comes down a level. Still a very big challenge, though. The maximum height here, because it's a 3-star, 1.45 metres. But it has, Sam, 26 jumping efforts, which we're going to talk about in a minute, and just put that into perspective for you. The prize money, €40,000 today. He has been designing all week sort of what we're looking at when what we're asking of these combinations that come forward.
Yeah, that would be similar to a 4-star short cross-country course, but short for us is about 6.5 minutes to do that. These guys will be doing it in around 2, and that's a lot of jumping in a relatively short space of time. So, you know, imagine one of those gym workouts when you're doing what's that new thing, high rocks, when you're picking things up and throwing things and doing all your...
I'll just nod.
Yeah, I'm getting on it. I haven't done it either, but I know you're going to really enjoy this class. It's a lovely little quality class. Steve and Martin, as John was getting out of them, the two Swiss leading the way, but you can really dissect the course, get to know it, and I do think you'll see some mistakes later on in the course that actually is just a bit of a fitness thing, a little bit physically and a little bit mentally as well, that concentration under fatigue. But that's what sport is all about. You know, it's about being able to keep your concentration, keep your power, keep your technique, keep your balance, particularly in that arena, all the way to the end over those, an enormous number, 26 efforts.
Yeah, enormous number. A very reasonably small class today. We'll call it boutique, we'll call it bougie, we'll call it a bespoke. 15 combinations that come forward. We want to get into the analysis then, Sam. We talked about how this class is going to work. How many then do we jumping efforts in this incredible derby? 15 combinations, how many of them will be clear?
Not many. That's the truth. We even had a winner back in 2017 where no one was clear.
Yeah.
So you'll see that on our graphic. 4 of those last 10 winners that they were the only clear. So we look at 2016, 2018, 2021, 2025. But I reckon it's 1 or 2. And given that there's a bit of quality in this class today, it could be 2. That makes it incredibly strategic and tactical, by the way. Now, there's a couple of reasons. Why are the numbers so low? It's not just that it's a derby and we've got to go run down hills to double the verticals and things like that. It is also to do with that number of efforts, Amy, as well. When you think a normal course is around 16 efforts and we're up at 26, you're literally halving the probability of jumping a clear round. So it's harder on many levels to leave all the fences in the cups. Steve, third to go, I think a little bit of a disadvantage because he's got to ride it as though someone else is going to jump clear because he wants to win it. He doesn't want to finish second, so he's probably going to put a little bit more pressure on himself than maybe is necessary. If you're going third last to go and no one's jumped clear yet, now you can ride that course completely differently, and there is every chance that someone with a late draw Armando Trapote, actually the Spanish rider, he is going to be first and last in this class. He's got two really good shouts. They're both a threat. He's got Carl P out first and Cap as well. That could play it.
Yeah, that'll make a difference. And he did touch on that, didn't he? He said if I was going a little bit later, I might take a few more risks, but we'll see how we go in that third place, coming out third from the start. Let's talk about the previous winners then, Sam, to put this into context, to give us a bit of an idea of just who wins this kind of class during this incredible show on previous occasions. We can see there 2025 Sophie Hinners. Sophie Hinners, talk about pink. She was in the pink at Dinard last year. Everything that was on offer.
Yeah, and I mean when she's in form, where she is this year, she's just been the absolute queen that's emerged in the sport over the last few years, and it's going to be a massive player over the coming weeks as well with that World Championships in view. Who wins this class? Well, Laura Rennick wins this class. She does it twice. French people have it all to do. There are, I mean, it's obviously on home soil, so there are more French riders than any other rider in the class. But for me, the favourites are coming. It's that Swiss duo again. We always see them at these traditional shows, the likes. I think with that Aachen World Championships, it's going to be on grass as well. Being able to ride on that surface, it's just a little bit easy, a little bit more the way on this one.
They certainly will be, and we'll be keeping a keen eye on that. We talked about Sophie Hinners there. She was, of course, the winner in 2025, and some heat around her as we head into the World Championships in just a few weeks' time. We caught up with her after her win in 2025.
So far the competition is going really good. My horses jumped absolutely great here. I won already 4 classes, so yeah, this is goes very good here. I jumped Moonin in the Derby and he was brilliant, delivered the only clear run today. It was our first Derby from both of us. But he did absolutely a great job, gave me all the confidence. I had a bit of respect before I went in, but yeah, everything went out well, and the atmosphere was amazing. The crowd was cheering, so it was beautiful to do it. Yeah, we love these colors. It's my first time here in Dinard, and the show is amazing. I heard already so much before. Everyone is telling me how beautiful this show is, or that it's their favorite show. And yeah, it's true. It's amazing here. The conditions are perfect. The crowd is amazing. My horses feel great here. It's a very special and beautiful show.
Oh, it was really great to catch up with Sophie. And as we were saying, Sam, a lot of heat around her, talking about this World Championships. We can't sort of draw it into focus enough, can we? Because it is all important. Everybody, I think, whatever they're doing, on whatever horses they're riding, whatever classes they're in, that is at sort of the front of their mind. It is a very, very big focus for the next couple of weeks.
Yeah, she's an absolute... Yes, it's great to see the guys that go out and win week in, week out, and you know the likes of Ben, although he was a long time waiting for his 5-star 160 win, but you know, winning those jump offs when it's all about speed. What Sophie Hinners does is she jumps an incredibly clinical. This year they're 6 from 8. She's so clinical, more so even than United Touch. United Touch is 4 from 8. So and can go ahead and did finish ahead of Sophie in the jump off in Aachen in the Rolex Grand Prix earlier this year. But she's just so clinical. I didn't realise in Australia that heat is a good thing. When there's heat on someone, I imagine that she's being like run around by the police and being chased.
Glaze, I think, is the new word.
There's a halo.
There's a halo. She's got a lot. We're glazing her. We're happy to glaze her, like a little donut. We're putting a lot of glaze on her. But yeah, there's a lot of heat around it. I think it's a lot of momentum, I think, would be the appropriate word if I wasn't being colloquial. But yeah, absolutely, because as you rightly point out, an absolute queen, a superstar, clinical precision, a real athlete. And I think it's fascinating to everybody watching on, isn't it? Because a lot of us who love the brain for just a moment to understand how she drops it on that coin, as I like to say, every time.
And don't miss her in terms of being a real favourite to actually win the individual competition. If the championships was like the Olympics, where you go from scratch and there's a high chance of having a jump off to go and win, that you sort of got to jump your couple of clear, you got to qualify for the individual, jump clear on the first round, jump clear again in the second round. You don't even need to jump clear in the first round, actually, as Christian Kuker can. That's day one, and then you carry your scores through the team competition, through the individual competition. So to become world champion is about consistency. It's not about getting into a jump off and going really fast and taking lots of risk. It's about being able to put 5 days of jumping together. I think that really suits Sophie and Eindame Sinclair, one to watch going into the championship. A normal Grand Prix.
Yeah, and we talk about, you know, there's some people we do want to talk about as well as the Swiss. Talk about precision. The Swiss are renowned for it. Got a couple of their, you know, top riders here this weekend, and I know they will have a lot of focus, a lot of heat, so, on them as we roll into World Championships as well.
Absolutely romping to victory in the Home Nations Cup in St. Gallen, and I think the one thing that the Swiss have always needed to go alongside Martin Fuchs and Steve Gerda is to back them up and to have it now. Obviously, lots of in that team. Dynamix de Bellem is back for Steve Gerda, the European champions from 2023. It's an odd year. It'd be odd if I got it wrong, but it's very possible. So Stevie's back with him. We don't have Leonie J for Martin Fuchs. We'll be seeing Connor J. So yeah, they're going to be strong. They're going to be strong when it comes to Aachen. They're going to be strong when it comes to this derby here in Dinard as well.
Absolutely, and one of our rider to watch today, in fact, is this man. We've talked about him a lot. We heard from him earlier. Is Steve Gerda, and Equiratings has identified him today as our one to watch. Easy Star, as we know, and Easy Star's just become, you know, a name we throw around here in the studio so much because of these derby classes, which, as I said to you, are having a bit of a renaissance. We love seeing them. People love watching them, and the riders increasingly are really enjoying competing in them.
Yeah, they need a little bit more prize money as well. You'd love to see it back in the 5-star show, but we will leave the politics to one side because they are just fantastic, and you see the energy that he's got. But Easy Star to tell me, as you say, what a CB she's got. Has won the derby in Le Bowl, has loads of derby experience, is a specialist. And we've already seen one specialist winning today, which is Ben Maher and Ginger Blue. That pair would be the specialist pair for the derby as well. So if show jumping is going to be simple, folks, then it's going to be Steve Gerda and Easy Star to tell them. But it ain't always simple.
Right, that's exactly right. We want to go back down to John Kyle, who is our reporter in Dinard for us this week. He's usually on the other side of things as the commentator, the dulcet tones of John Kyle, but this time, in front of the camera, he's been keeping an eye on that course walk and across what's going on ahead of this class. John, what's happening? Any news to bring us before we get down to the pointy end of things and to the sport?
We're, you know, a British Isles thing. I've got to talk about the weather. I've taken off the gilet, the clouds have cleared, the sun is absolutely breaking through here on the Brittany coast, so looking forward to the cocktails at the end of the derby as well. The derby, I've just been in, had a look at the course. As I said, I've been lucky enough to commentate this derby quite a few times. I've done Hamburg, I've done Hickstead, Speed Derby at Dublin, a few others as well. And it sits plumb in the middle. There's a real proper bank out there, and it comes down to a double of planks, which are on a downward profile as well, so you're so on the forehand for that. There's a road crossing, there's the pergola, which is such a feature of the Dinard track over many years, and as Sam will tell you, sometimes even the eventing horses so used to keyholes, they can duck a little bit going through something like an owl hole, so it'll be interesting to see how the jumping horses deal with that. We've got a carriage wash water splash, we've got the Grand Prix style water, there's so much out there. This is really and Hamburg in terms of what it's asking. And then, as we've been saying, the field that comes together. As ever, a little bit like Hamburg, a little bit like Hickstead, we've got some French riders with whom we're probably a little bit less familiar. They could easily be the winner. Then you've got the likes of Thibaut Spitz is in the class. He's not in it because he just fancies having a go. Thibaut Spitz is riding in a class because he thinks he can win a class. Same with Martin Fuchs, same with Steve Gerda. So it's going to be a really, really good class. Steve, and I'm sure you guys as well, while I was off course walking, have touched on the format here. And that's the other quite interesting thing about these derbies, that Everyone is a little bit different, and this one is one round against Derby-style track. And as we heard together, I don't know if you mentioned it, one for me that I would pick up, she's actually going a little bit earlier than I hoped. I hope to catch up with her and bring her to you to talk to. Maybe we'll speak to her after her ride, is US rider Kristen van der Veen. Kristen is gung-ho, and she is fast. She was out there getting a little bit lost. There's a lot of numbers to walk, but she is up for the challenge, and it'll be interesting to see how it all plays out. So we are not too far away from the start of sport here at Dinard, Amy.
Certainly, and we will look forward to catching up with some of the riders, John, and how they are feeling as we go through that sport, of course. Sam, we've got a couple more to look at just to dive into here before we get down to that sport. This is a rider that's really, really interesting. We want to talk about Armando. He is a rider to watch for us. He's one you've identified. He's literally the bread on either side of this Derby sandwich today. He is first to go and then last to go. He's got 2 bites of the cherry here, as we like to say.
Competing, they're both pretty experienced. And you look at their 145 clear rate at this, they are jumping clear rate 45% for Captain Hook, 48% for Carl P, almost identical. They both class do, because to get onto the ELA rating, you've got to be jumping at 4 and 5 star shows at 150 and above. Qualified horses, the ones to whom the height is not going to be the issue. It's just a question of the format, the Derby style, as John mentioned. It's not in the extreme bracket of a Hamburg or a Hickstead, but it certainly is. It's not just a kind of a put together fake Derby. You know, like we got real terrain. We've got what he was talking about with he used a very, very complicated word that I did. Good word. It was a brilliant word. I tried to write it down, but I couldn't spell it. He might remind us of what that was. He's too well spoken. But yeah, they'll duck when they go through things, the horses, so they're gonna come down a little bit with the heads, so they've got to stay up with their knees and chin, so it's a real test of concentration. But Armando, I think having 2 rides in this as well, I imagine that he's first out on Carl P. He will be tactical. He'll try and get the first clear on the board, and then he'll see what he's got to get a feel of the course, and B, to know what he's got to do when.
Yeah, absolutely. And that, as you say, just couldn't be better for him. We talk about the Swiss, another one of these riders to watch. It's undeniable, of course, when you have names like this that you're going to be looking at them, even in a 3-star, particularly in a Derby. Interestingly, he brings Love de Vie forward, and we know he thinks really, really highly of this horse. Yeah,
runner-up to Steve in the Le Ball Derby. And winners of the Falsterbo Derby as well. So again, both of the Swiss have those form lines, Le Ball and Falsterbo. So again, this one is kind of obvious from that point of view. If you're looking at form lines, if you're looking at Derby form, Love de Vie, Martin Fuchs, they're obvious. Their clear rate at 145 is at 56%. Easy Star de Telma and Steve Gerd at 45%, so similar to Armando's. I thought John Kyle gave us a really interesting name drop in there in Thibaut Spitz. Gwendolyn van te Merselnest is less experienced at this. And then he also mentioned Kristen van der Veen. Now that's just an 8-year-old Derby course, but that could be the unveiling of a cool horse. And yeah, I don't think too many. I wonder what they get up to in the world of hunters over in the US. They do jump some kind of more natural obstacles, but I doubt the terrain is quite as testing.
No. Quite unique, that is for sure. So who's your pick then, Sam? If you out of 15 combinations that come forward, it's small, it's specialist in terms of the actual class number. Who's taking it?
I think Martin's got the draw over Steve. But it'll be I really want Steve to jump clear and just leave that door a little bit ajar for both Armando and Martin to give it a go, but I think Martin might be the one that comes out on top.
From Burgundy, you can't put it on the screen if you don't want me to read it. The photo of Martin Fuchs there looking like a beautiful mind with his piece of paper as he's walking around the course, as we see a lot of riders do now, making notes there. So fantastic stuff. We're about to get down to things with the sport in Dinard for this derby. We're really excited for this class. If you're watching us on YouTube, now's the time to head across to the Clip My Horse 24/7 channel. Of course, it is free for you to watch all of the sport this afternoon and the rest of what we have to offer you here in the In-Out studio. You can do that www.clipmyhorse.tv on the 24/7 channel. It'll be ticking along on the top there. Do join us. We would love that, of course. We want to say goodbye to you and throw over to our commentary team now, expertly led by Stephen Wild.
Experience equestrian sport in a whole new way. Enjoy exclusive access to live streams and our extensive archive. See more, discover more with Clip My Horse TV Premium.
Emeric Georges of France is one of those. But on to the rest of our list of riders. Cedric Roel there of France as well, goes pretty early on. Ibiza Dessert. There, a pensive-looking Thibaut Spitz. Full in concentration for Steve Gerda.